is AshleyDellenback, and today I'm going to be giving a speech on demonstrating CPR. What would you do if someone ever collapsed in front of you? What steps would you help take to revive them? Today I'm going to be discussing CPR, what it is, and what steps you would take to help somebody in need. What is CPR and how would it help somebody survive? According to Manani Amini, in the Effects of New CPR Guideline on Attitude Toward Basic Life Support in Japan, published through Resuscitation in 2010, CPR stands for Cardiopulmonary Resuscitation. A tip from the chairman of the Heart Association Committee, Michael Sirai, says, "The key to do it is not to be afraid to help. Don't be afraid to try it." In Lindsay Anderson's article in the 2010 USA Today, ad campaign pushes hands-on CPR, she states an interesting statistic. 45% of adults would not perform CPR because they are not confident in doing it. Don't become part of that statistic. Learn how to perform CPR and be comfortable with it so that in case anything ever happens and you're around, you can do something. In the 1996 Saturday Evening Post, Lawrence Martin wrote an article entitled "Shock Him," and he said, "CPR's main value is buying time until people can come with advanced life support equipment." Two sources that I'm going to be using in the demonstrating process of CPR are Lawrence Martin with his Shock Him article and the New York Times article, "The First Step in CPR is Now Calling 911, which was published in 1992. CPR can definitely seem like an overwhelming process, but if you learn the steps and you stay calm, you are completely in control of the situation and you will be able to do it flawlessly. The first and most important thing that you must remember is you have to call 911. If you are by yourself, then make sure you call 911 before you start any CPR on the person. If you're not alone, send for someone else to call 911 if you know what you're doing. The next thing you need to make sure is that the victim is laying horizontally on the ground so that you can kneel down next to them in order to reach them at the best of your ability. The first thing you need to do is tilt their head up so their chin is pointing towards the sky. The next thing you need to do is you're going to breathe into their mouth and give them 2 short mouth-to-mouth breaths, known as rescue breaths. Make sure that when you're doing this, you pinch the victim's nostrils so that no air is escaping out of the nostrils instead of going into their lungs. After you have given breaths, you can then feel for a cardiac pulse in the next region, just behind the angle of the jaw. Right here. If there is no pulse, you're going to pump on the lower breastplate known as the sternum 5 times with the heel of your hands. These are called compressions. You do compressions by putting your heel of the hand down and pushing. If you're doing an adult, you're going to go 1.5 to 2 inches deep. For a child, you're going to go 1 inch deep, and for an infant, you're going to go half an inch deep. Once you have finished the 5 compressions, then you need to give 2 more rescue breaths. Then follow the rescue breaths with 15 more compressions. Keep repeating this sequence of 2 rescue breaths and 15 compressions until one of the following happens. Help arrives, you become too exhausted, or you have felt a pulse. What are some other things you need to know about CPR? Compressions. When you give compressions to a person, it is important to remember 2 specific things. You have to press firmly. You have to be mentally prepared to break bones. It's better to break a bone than to lose a human life. And the second thing is you have to remember that you have to use the heel of your hand in order to get the compressions to go all the way into the body. You also must remember to keep your elbows locked and arms straight, push down firmly with the heels of your hand to touch the chest. Time is crucial. The longer a person goes without a heart rhythm, the greater chances of them having severe brain damage are great, and sometimes they may even become a human vegetable, which makes them stay in institutional care forever. As you can see, CPR is not as hard as it sounds. As long as a person stays calm and under control and focused on the chance that they have to save a life, then they will be ready. You can take classes, read books, and practice to make yourself feel more comfortable with this process. CPR is a cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and it is a process that anyone can do if they're willing to learn. Not only will this process help a fallen victim, regain the ability to breathe, but it will save a life and possibly allow them to walk away with minor injuries instead of having the possibility to spend their life as a human vegetable.